got it better than us? Nobody!
Want to focus on the things that have made us good all year long, an intensity that they can't match. And the other thing is the ultimate disrespect is when somebody takes what's yours. And this is our game, so that makes it personal. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate.
I need 60 minutes. 60 minutes to me. 60 minutes. No business, no mercy. Nothing but thought bubbles. You got me. We're going to ring the bell. We're going to ring that championship bell. Big motherfucking time.
The Orange Bowl is on Mitch Jeter's left. Snap, good hold, kick on its way, and the kick is good! Yes! Mitch Jeter, with 7 seconds left, gives the Irish a lead, 27-24. Notre Dame is on the precipice.
Notre Dame has won the Orange Bowl.
3rd and 16, Mahomes roll it out. Looking, firing, intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean, gets a block, DeJean is in, touchdown!
The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
You are looking live.
Hello, everyone. You are looking live. Huddle Up Podcast. It is Tuesday, September the 23rd, 2025. We're glad to be back with you for another week, and we hope you are doing well. Make sure you are following along with us all season long. We're at Huddle Up Podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitter. You can get us on Instagram at Huddle Up Podcast Inc. You can get us over on Twitch at Huddle Up Inc. You can also, and please do, go ahead and grab your Huddle Up merchandise over on our TeePublic store. You can get the link to that and everything else Huddle Up related in the link tree in all of our social medias. If you're enjoying the show, give us a share, give us a like, give us a follow. Let your friends who are sports fans know about it. Our YouTube numbers are up, and we've been really doing well this year. So we certainly do appreciate all the support as always. And this week, at least for a while anyway, it'll just be Sean and myself. EJ may be jumping in. We may get a run in from Kyle. We may get a run in from Mike. Those were unexpected over the last couple of weeks. But Sean, good to see you again. How you doing this week, bud?
Well, I know we're doing good. Baseball season wrapping up. 6 games left, 5 after today. Phils look like things are going to probably wrap up as a 2 seed, which I will gladly take. Yeah. We got Devin here. I saw it pop on the screen there. That's always good news. And
does the bye scare you if you're a Phillies fan with the way
there's obviously some momentum there, but I've been saying for about 2-3 weeks, with my buddy Dan, who will probably show up at some point in the comments here. I think in this particular year, time off hasn't really seemed to affect us that much. And I think with some of the guys like Turner and Bohm, who just came off injury, and, obviously it's not going to do anything for Wheeler, but, I think the bye's actually pretty important. I think sometimes the Phillies get hot, and maintaining it through 3 series is very difficult. I think maintaining it through 2 to get there is a little easier. And I think we have the pitching staff. We should be able to afford to kick off some rust in that comeback game. So I think the Phils are in a good spot. I think if you get that partial week off there, just to kind of chill and run some simulated games and just enjoy it for a minute. And obviously they've earned it. Obviously they've earned it. But fresh off a big win in Philly, we finally have a win in South Bend, and
thank goodness.
Yeah, I guess sports-wise, things are looking up. Flyers are playing, hockey's rolling in.
Speaking of hockey, I want to give a little shout here with the YouTube hands there. Dogfish Head's new Engine 19 IPA. It's Garnet Hathaway of the Flyers helped them craft the beer. It's
there you go.
Kind of a light IPA, but all sales from it proceeds go to Half's Heroes, which gives money back to first responders.
So
that's
real dope. Yeah,
tasty,
nice.
Very tasty. Really enjoy it. So yeah,
it's good. Then there you go. Celebrate hockey while we talk about some football.
Grab that. I'm going to a preseason hockey game on Thursday. The Capitals and Flyers are playing in Hershey on Thursday night. So
and of course the Eagles are coming down to see me. Down here.
There you go. Yeah. So it's a lot of sports. Sports going on. At least one sports thing good for me this past weekend. Other things maybe not so much, but otherwise, yeah, it's going good. So if you're in the comments like Devin is, if you're with us live, you can give your comments there in the on the show and in your thoughts as we go through. So we'll touch on anything there as well. So Sean, let's go ahead. Let's dive right in to start off the show. Yeah, as we've been doing this year, highlighting the best of things that we saw over the past week, and especially with just you and I here, we'll probably go over a couple of things. But I want to highlight this. This may be one of the best. Maybe not even the best of the week. Maybe this could go up as best of the year. Of course, Michigan head coach Sharon Moore serving a 2-week suspension the last couple of games, and then after they get the win in Nebraska. On Saturday, Biff Poggi, who was the acting head coach in Sharon Moore's absence, was asked how he's going to celebrate his 2-game tenure as a Michigan head coach.
I'm going to eat some Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream with my wife and smoke a Cuban cigar and then probably go to the hospital.
I mean, I don't know anything about the man.
Just check me out. Make sure the ticker's still in good shape.
But I feel like I could spend an afternoon with Biff Poggi.
He seems like a real chill guy. Just put on some CCR on the front.
Haagen-Dazs ice cream, Cuban cigar, hospital.
I mean he's in all the right places. Not sure about the hospital, but I guess if you're got some concerns about the ticker, that's not a bad place.
He's a big man. But Biff is a big man.
He's a big fella.
So he's we got that one on. Got some health concerns after, we may have to use that one
after a few weeks coaching in the big house. Just this has been a lot.
It's stressful. It's stressful. And also a former, I guess, because technically Biff Poggi, now former Michigan head coach, another former Michigan head coach. We play the clip. It's actually of Jack Harbaugh, who's got it better than us. But after the Chargers come from behind victory on Sunday, Jim Harbaugh had kind of a new play on that.
There's only one that can have it better than us. Future us.
I mean,
future
us. So Chargers feeling good. But Sean, what's your what is your best of the week from this past week?
Ironically, you can throw Devin's up there because his was a finalist. In my list. Surprisingly, I had my lock of the week was a coaching shift in Miami, and I'm not gonna 100% prove or claim or anything that he listens to the podcast, but I'm gonna claim my little fire on his butt. That's what I'm gonna say. Because to be honest, and I know that a late pick and just one of those things where you're like, oh, Tua. But minus that late, I mean, Dolphins were right in that till the fourth quarter.
What'd you do?
I would argue based on where they were at and what some of the pushback media wise was, that's one of the, if not the best coached games McDaniel's thrown together in over a year.
Short week, really good divisional opponent.
Yeah.
Back against the wall. And that's a heck of a job.
And it was a smart game. They played complete football for a very control the game
for like 54 minutes.
Keep the ball. Don't let Allen touch it. You know, it's one of those things I always tell you. Don't just keep it out of Mahomes' hands. Keep it out of Allen's hand. Easier said than done, because the defense knows just stop them. Then they get the
Right.
So their job's to get it back into his hands. And yeah, they played a good game. Some designed runs. Using the rookie Gordon, and I thought it was a nice game. Got bailed out by Tyreek a couple times, but that's why you pay him. And
Sure.
yeah, I think it was a very good game and kind of an unfortunate ending for them. But you're right; it's not completely dead yet. It's not dead yet.
No, bought himself a week, probably a couple of weeks, pending what happens Monday night against the
comes out next week, just gets obliterated.
Jets.
That's it.
I mean, you have a desperate 0-3 Jets team.
God, the Jets just keep trying
coming
to
to town. I felt so bad for them. I felt so bad.
They would have been the best of the week.
My gosh, and
if they held off Tampa at the end of that.
Best of the week. Let's be honest. Best of the week was the uniform matchup in the Jets Buccaneers game.
God, that was a beautiful thing.
The Jets have like that modern take on like the 80s Jets.
Yep.
And then the Bucks wore the white creamsicle. Like, my God.
It was a lot going on. Chargers game was a pretty good uniform show as well. I really enjoyed that.
Yep, sure was. A lot of good uniforms. The old Patriots got busted out this past weekend. Like, man, some of these teams just need to go full throwback. I think that's
but
what they need to do.
Yep, finalists, they had that. I had the Lions, obviously. Dan Campbell and the Lions kind of like, had their slip up, had a lot of doubters, and then all of a sudden, hey, look, I know you're probably not going to say we're the best because we had that slip up, but we're just going to show you we can play with them.
All of a sudden, you don't hear people saying, well, what about their new offensive coordinator?
Yeah, how about that? Well, if he hadn't figured it out yet, he has now. They look just
a couple
fine.
of trick plays. Just
they don't. I don't think they missed Ben Johnson.
They were cruising.
Right now.
Deep defense looks good.
And if you're wondering if Aiden Hutchinson was going to heal completely from his injury,
yes,
either yes he did, or let's hope he doesn't finish.
Right. I was going to say, if he's not fully healthy,
he's not 100%.
Dear God.
We're in for a show.
We're back to trouble. I do want to bring Devin's comment back up since we did. He said his best of the week is the Dolphins didn't completely get blown out of the water by the Bills on Thursday. Yeah, so it's one of those. Here's the deal: like when you're a team that is bad, and I don't think I'm not insulting anybody when I say the Dolphins are a bad team. One of those games is when you feel good about being a bad team.
Yeah,
because it's like there's hope there. There's a little bit of something if we can.
Well, and coaching or not with the Dolphins, like I said, I mentioned Gordon, Ollie Gordon behind. I mean, obviously I feel like I pronounce it 19 different ways, never right. But I mean, man, he's lightning fast, and then to show Ollie Gordon, I mean, I know he wasn't one of the top rookies sought after, and he wasn't one of the top two picks off the board. But, man, I don't know too many running backs out of college that just look ready for the NFL, just size and stature-wise. He's built like a truck, and he moves. So, I mean, they got a pretty good second fiddle there in the rookies. So, you got some young guys there. Of course, Malik Washington. Everybody knows Jalen Waddle. I think whether Tua is around long, whether McDaniel is around long, if you can hold on to some of those pieces, I think you're doing okay. I think you can still put a pretty good product together. Maybe take a couple years, but that hope, you can cling to that, Devin. You can cling to it.
Yeah, there's a core there, and kind of going along the lines. It wasn't my primary, but we talked about two of these teams. Technically, I guess three of them. But teams not quitting when they're down, I think, is the best of the week. Dolphins. Didn't see them quit. Jets didn't quit. My Chargers didn't quit. They had the big come from behind victory. Browns didn't quit. Get the big win over the Packers. And of course the Eagles didn't quit as well. They were down big.
No, absolutely not. You saw a lot of teams just hang in there and like, let's just keep as close as we can. Maybe we get a bounce. Maybe we get a pick. Maybe we get something. And I think along those lines, if you want to know the generic win of the week, best of the week, special teams has to be listed as the special teams. 5 block kicks in the 1 o'clock hour.
That was a heck of an effort.
I mean, 5 block kicks, 2 in the Eagles game. I think 3 of them on potential winning or tying kicks.
Yeah.
It was 2 or 3. And 2 of those run back for touchdowns. So
yeah, just wild.
And there were some returns too. I don't know if there are any big return touchdowns, but as I was watching the games, I saw some big return plays that set up short drives that got teams back in it. So
there's a big return touchdown on Saturday. I know that
there was one of those. But I mean, there was a lot going on this week, and not every game went the way I saw it going, but even a losing effort, my feel-good story of the year, everybody so far, Daniel Jones, still, playing decent ball. So,
well, now the Colts won. They're 3-0.
Oh, that's right. The Colts did win.
They did. They pulled that one out.
I had the Patriots was the game that I
the Patriots.
That was the one I was going out on a limb, and that's what I get for believing in Boston.
But my best of the week, and obviously it's a little bit of a homer pick, but I'm okay with that. Is CJ Carr shining for the 3rd straight week in
looks good,
blue and gold, and getting his first win as Notre Dame starting quarterback. I know that it was, quote, just Purdue, but when you've just lost by 4 points in your first 2 games, beating just Purdue sometimes is what you need.
You come in doubting yourself a little, even though you played well. Everybody tells you you're no good. You're not in the tournament. That it's not this. This freshman quarterback. Blah blah blah. You hear things.
Yeah.
It's too much information out there not to. And so, I mean, you come in. You maybe don't settle in for a couple minutes, a couple drives. But they woke up in the second half for sure.
Kid looks good, and it's Notre Dame fans.
I think that Jordan or that I think that Love character, he might work out.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love's pretty good.
Jadarian Price pretty good as well.
Also,
but I think Notre Dame fans having to shift their mindset from we're going to be a defensive team to we're an offensive team. Is where we are. So
shift from being an offensive team.
Our defense is offensive, but
it's offensive at times. Yes.
But Sean, any other bests from this?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go my real best of the week, I'd have to say, you can keep that homer button close, because for me,
homer,
it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I was going to try to find one. I wanted it to just be Jordan Davis, but I can't just give it to him. I thought, it started to look like, the offense isn't working and the Eagles are slow starting and the first half ended and it's like, maybe they're right. Maybe it was just all, but I don't know. I guess at halftime they heard me shouting at the TV because I'm like,
I think they heard everybody shouting.
I'm just sitting there going, they have 9 in the box. Throw it over them.
Right.
Like you have 2 Pro Bowl receivers. Just throw it to AJ Brown. He can't have more than one guy on him.
No, not when
he's
they're
big. He has hands. Like and they come out and I mean, again, new offensive coordinator. I still would like to think that our comeback was kickstarted when Kellen Moore tried to tush push in New Orleans. I feel like that's when it happened.
And ironically got called for a false start.
Got called for a false start and still didn't make it. They jumped early.
Can be done. That's the thing that we now know is it can be done.
You can see the fault. Like that's all I said the whole time. Where they fall. Well, then don't yell at the Eagles. Tell the officials that to watch for them to move.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's yelling at the Eagles. I mean, they're running the play, and it happens. It's up to the officiating.
The Saints just tried. Kellen Moore was just like, "Look, I'll show you that no one else can do it."
Although Saints in a pathetic,
it's a pretty big jump
from
the
a
Saints
pathetic showing. The white helmets for the Saints
didn't hate them.
Fantastic, great look.
I mean, it's a good. It's hard though when it's like, I love the original look, so I think that's the reason I don't like a lot of Saints alternate unis.
Man,
because their original look is so crisp and clean.
It is.
It's like the Raiders. It'd be like the Raiders. The Raiders did that silver one time, the silver uni. I think.
They did yeah. In the early 2000s.
I hated it.
But man, the white, it felt like more new. Like I feel like if the Saints would wear the white helmets with like a Drew Brees era Purdue, like with like the golden white stripes and then white pants.
Are you saying go like on a white uni?
White, no, black jersey, white helmet, black jersey with gold and white stripes on the sleeve.
I love a 70s or 80s style. Get the stripe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Stick to a pure number. You don't have to do anything cool with your numeric font. Ask the Buccaneers.
Right.
You don't have to do anything saucy with
the alarm clock.
The color will work, right? The color, yeah.
Just
color
simple.
scheme
Keep
of the
it
Saints.
simple, keep it classic.
Yep.
Like the Arch Manning era.
Mess with it.
The Archie Manning, not the Arch Manning. It could.
It's stripes in
the
there.
new era could be Arch Manning.
Hike the pants up. Get some high socks with stripes to match.
Yeah,
let's really sell this thing.
Yeah, classic vintage. Oh, Phillies are going to try to F around here. They're 3-2 now.
Well, they're going to need Schwarber to hit another one then, I guess.
And that's a thing. That's a thing that does happen. All right, Sean, let's move to the world of college football. And man, we have 4 games on our slate this week.
Heavy slate.
A real good slate. But there's a lot of games. These are just games that are 2 top 25 teams playing each other. So, there's plenty of other solid games throughout the slate. So if you have planned Saturday, maybe you get the flu. It's a thing that's happening right now.
If you can't get away on your own, fake a heart attack. The hospital has the games on.
Something. Yeah. Be like Biff. Just be like Biff.
Just lay in the hospital bed, have them put it on. The only thing that's going to make me feel better is some college football.
There you go. But we will start big noon on Fox. It is number 21 USC. They are 4-0, and as much as I hate to say it, hopefully keep winning. They are a 6.5-point road favorite at maybe just gave up another touchdown to Indiana. The number 23 Illinois Fighting Illini. Well, let's just call them the Illini. Not much fight in Bielema's boys this past week, but they're 3-1 now. The over/under in this game is 59.5, Sean.
Yeah, I was obviously last week I was real high on Illinois. I thought that they looked like a better product than Indiana. I thought it felt a lot like.
I appreciate the thought, but you've got the story wrong.
Yeah, very wrong. Thanks, Jim Rome. I don't know. It felt kind of like when Miami resurged, and it was the gold chains, and it was like it felt like it was just. It was like playing with confidence. There was a lot of raw talent, but the confidence was kind of pulling everything together. That's what it felt like for me in Illinois. And that, I guess there's one thing to take the confident wind out of the sails. Score.
You had it on and you blew it.
But man, they came out firing. Indiana knew prepared well and took them down. So a lot of people are going to like Illinois in a bounce back game here. Their opponent USC, I think, is very balanced. They look very balanced, very fast, very good. This looks like a very, very good USC team. And I don't think they're going to stop climbing at number 21. I think it's 2 in a row for the Fighting Illini. Game day's there. The whole country's there. Unfortunately, they might see the last week that they're ranked in Champaign. I would say I'm not saying they can't climb back in it later, but for now, this little run's over. USC to cover. To win and cover, and 59.5. Man, I don't know. If it was Illinois before last week, I'd say it was going to be a shootout. I think USC might wind up a little bit lopsided. I'm going to keep it under.
Yeah, this is a stretch of three big games for USC at Illinois this week. They're off next, and then currently number 19 Michigan and currently number 22 Notre Dame. So we're going to learn a lot about USC over the next 4 Saturdays. But I think what we're going to learn this Saturday, or what we might already know this coming Saturday, is USC can score and Illinois can't stop people from scoring. I expect to see similar to what we saw against Indiana. I think. Yeah. I don't know if USC is going to put up a 60-burger. But
I think it's a rough spot to get a top opponent in Champaign after that beating last week.
Yeah, that's a tough draw. I do think USC covers the 6.5. I think they're going to win and win pretty easily. But I'm with you, Sean. I'm gonna take that under, just because I don't know if USC is going to score as much as Indiana did. I feel like Indiana just
and with that gauntlet coming, I think you might see if they go up by a couple of scores, call them off, run the ball, let's get out of here.
Nobody gets hurt.
But I'd expect him to come out firing, especially with that murderer's row coming. You can't win 3 if you don't win the first one. So you come out with a head of steam, show what you got, and you try to put it together in your bye week.
Yeah, and I think that the 60 points was also about everybody was coming into this year going, who's going to be this year's Indiana? And
I was saying we're going to be this year's Indiana.
Right, Indiana. Yeah, Indiana's like maybe we'll be this
Indiana.
Year.
There's no this year's Indiana.
Yeah, like we're still Indiana.
Indiana's here, guys. So.
All right, next one. Let's go to a Saturday, 3:30 Eastern time on ABC. It is the number 4 LSU Tigers
playing like family.
Who was they're 4-0. They traveled to number 13 Ole Miss, who is also 4-0. A 1.5 point home favorite. Your over under is 54.5.
I understand that it is 2 ranked teams. I understand that it is good for television selling. But if I was LSU playing the way that I've been playing for 4 games against the teams that I've played in those 4 games, and I went into an SEC matchup with a team ranked 9 spots lower than me and was a 1.5 point underdog, I don't care where it's being played. I would take that personally. And I hope they do. I think that is a disgusting act. I get that Ole Miss looks good, but Ole Miss always looks good for a while
until they don't.
There's always a team where they run into one of the big boys and they're just not big enough. And I think this is the one. I don't think. I mean, if LSU was making classic Brian Kelly blunders and lining up incorrectly or making some bad throws,
and we're sitting here again.
We are sitting here again. We're sitting here again, and all of a sudden the world. And maybe it's his past that cost him this 1.5 points. Maybe it's just it's just doubt that like he's not going to win the big one, and no one's going to bet that way. So let's keep it close. Feel free to bet that one. I think LSU is not only going to cover that 1.5, they're going to win this game, and they're probably going to do it by 7 or 10. I think it's close the whole way, but that roster's too stacked. I think they're great on both sides. This has the makings of a national championship caliber team on both sides of the ball, and that quarterback just kind of finished the gig. So I would say LSU, no doubt, 54.5. I mean, I like Ole Miss to put up points at least for 2 or 3 quarters. I'll take the over on this. I think this is going to be a back and forth kind of brawl, and it pushes over.
Yeah, Devin had USC in the under in the first one. He has the Tigers in the under in this one. Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about even dating back to his time in Notre Dame, the big game Brian stuff, and we've jokingly referred to it at times, in the post Notre Dame Brian Kelly universe. But we saw them get at least what we perceived to be a big win in week 1. Clemson has come to teach us that maybe that wasn't a big win.
Big win or not, it was a team with a lot of promise, and it was a monkey on the back of Brian Kelly with that with the first win of the year, like just not being able to get out of that first game. So
I think LSU had
monkey
lost
off the back
7 straight.
Yeah, so
so
this is the next monkey. This is the other monkey hanging on there.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Ole Miss.
We can worry about Alabama or Georgia later. This is our first big ranked opponent in the SEC. That's a monkey.
Yeah, Ole Miss. We see it regularly. Lane Kiffin. Prior to Lane Kiffin, it's a team that every year you go into it and think maybe this is the one, and then they remind us that they're not. And I think, and not that losing to a number 4 ranked LSU team is, a sign that you're not the one, but LSU's better. Like they are just better, and whether it's Brian Kelly's coaching, whether it's the positional staff,
you want to crown them, then crown them.
Just everything all together. Whatever it is.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
It's working for LSU right now, and I think it continues working this Saturday. So give me LSU to win in at least numbers wise an upset. I'm going to take the over. These are 2 high-powered offenses. We see this regularly in the SEC anymore, where you have 2 big teams and they just keep firing after each other. So that's, I think, what's going to happen there. All right, the next one, let's go to Saturday, 7:30 Eastern Time, NBC. It is the number 6 Oregon Ducks. They are 4-0. They travel to number 3 Penn State, who is 3-0, and a 3-point home favorite. You're over under 52.5. Sean.
How exciting! Last week, get a couple of undefeated Big Ten teams. Now next week, you get a couple more. The Big Ten kind of flexing their muscle a bit, I think, this year, showing that, hey, I know you love the SEC, and I know you think they're full of talent, but this Big Ten's not too shabby. This is 2 good football teams. I think one is playing substantially better than the other right now. When you have 2 good teams, I think a lot of times you got to look at what have you done for me lately. And I think Oregon right now is on a fast moving train. And I feel like the offense is clicking. The defense is playing better than they usually do. Now maybe that's something Penn State's able to exploit and kind of catch this whole pick off guard. But I think that, 3 points means that nobody knows. It's pretty much a pick 'em.
Right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Oregon in the pick 'em. I'm gonna take them to, especially getting 3 points, take them at least to cover, probably win this game outright. But I could see this one being kind of back and forth. 52.5. My heart says take the over because it's going to be so back and forth. But I would not be surprised if it's back and forth, trending over for about 3 quarters. And when it comes down to push and shove, and these teams try to do what they do, they're going to play small ball, they're going to play defense, and they're going to slow the scoring down at the end. And I think they're just going to miss. I think it's just under.
Yeah, we saw these 2 teams play each other. Now, granted, the different rosters, but in the Big Ten title game last year, 45-37 was your final.
They were moving.
So there's points to be had. Devin here has quack motherfuckers and the over. So he is picking Oregon Ducks.
Hard one not to want to bet with the score. Like, I just think Penn State is I think the offense, without Warren, quarterback or not, they have two great running backs. And I think Oregon's offense probably does concern you. And I think you're going to try to play defense and kind of keep that offense off the field, kind of keep it cold. It might be in Penn State's game plan to keep this one under.
Yeah, well, I think it's got to be in Penn State's game plan if they want to win this game.
You're not going to play shootout with this team on purpose.
No, that'd be a bad choice. Look, I know Penn State has 3 big margins of victory over Nevada, FIU, and Villanova to start this year. But if you look at 2 of those 3 games, Nevada and FIU were close-ish in the third quarter. So if Penn State doesn't play better on Saturday night than they have all year, they're not going to have that opportunity to take control of the game and go above and beyond once you get into the deep third quarter and fourth quarter, because you're not going to wear Oregon down like you wear down Villanova.
No.
I think this game is going to be close for a while, but I really think that we're talking a borderline runaway by the Oregon Ducks. I don't think this game is going to be close. I think Oregon right now is that much better. I think they are a much better team than they were a year ago when they beat Penn State in the Big Ten title game. Now, granted, that's a neutral site, but nothing about this Penn State team.
Are they whiting this one out?
Yeah, I believe this is a whiteout.
I think that's probably a smart play on their part.
Oh, absolutely. But I just, nothing I have seen so far out of this Penn State team tells me that they have the capability to beat this Oregon team. So they can prove me wrong. James Franklin and company almost did in the Orange Bowl last year, but we also know how that worked out. So, yeah, give me Oregon by a lot, and I will take the over just because I think if Oregon does win by a lot, they're going to put up a good portion of that 52.5 themselves. And then last one, Saturday, 7:30 Eastern time on ABC, number 17, Alabama, trying to keep their season from going completely off the rails. 2-1, they are 17th in the country. They travel to number 5, Georgia, who is 3-0 and a 3-point home favorite. You're over under 52.5. And, we talked about last year when we previewed this game. Does Kirby Smart have a Nick Saban problem or an Alabama problem? They lost to Alabama last year when Georgia was the better team. Now Georgia markedly should be a much better team. So we're really going to find out. Does Kirby Smart have a Alabama problem? But Sean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think this Alabama team's starting to shape up as someone that's going to be an Alabama problem for everyone they play. I think, despite the loss in week 1, this team is showing that there are skill they got the skill positions covered, and their ability to recruit, while it may have slowed down a skosh, has not slowed down much. There's a lot of talent on this team. Having said that, I would make the same argument I made for LSU for Georgia here. Rivalry game or not, this is a game in your backyard where you're ranked 12 spots higher than the Crimson Tide, and you're essentially in a pick'em with a 3-point spread at home. Alabama got beat bad by a team already, and so some of it's credit to how Alabama's playing right now, obviously, and the fact that these two sides are not shy about betting on this game. So keeping it as close as possible and as much of a pick is very profitable for Las Vegas, I'm sure. But I would take it personally, and I think for Smart, this is a chance to prove yourself and get back. This is a team that is always there at the end of the year. Like, it doesn't matter who's quarterback, it doesn't matter who's running the ball. Keep getting me defensive prospects for Philadelphia. I take the Georgia Bulldogs in a good old-fashioned Alabama-Georgia slobber knocker, and I take them. I take them to cover the 3. Like, not only win but cover the 3. I know it's not many points. It's something that could go down to the last play, or the last drive. But something tells me it's where big run play breaks, big pass play breaks. 4-7 point win, something like that, or possibly a big play to put it out of reach with a 2-score game, something like that. So give me Georgia. Give me the Dogs, 52.5. You couldn't pay me to take the under in this one. These teams are going to come out firing. Defenses or not, it's going to be optional. They know each other. They know each other. This game's going to go over. That would be the bet I would play on this. I'd say pick your favorite team of the two and tack on the over for good measure. Yeah, I think, or just throw the over in a parlay somewhere. Devin has Alabama and the over, so Devin thinks that Alabama's going to pull some shocking stuff on Saturday in Georgia. Certainly could happen. I don't think it will. I don't think this Alabama team is very good. I know we were talking about Illinois soon going to be finding themselves unranked. I think before too long, Alabama's going to find themselves unranked. I just don't think this is a very good team, and they're going to be getting into a schedule that doesn't get easier after Georgia. So I think we're going to see a uncharacteristically strange number on the right-hand side of Alabama's record for the first time in a long time. I think Georgia walks pretty easily, so give me that them to cover. And, absolutely, we'll take the over as well in this one. But, plenty of good games on Saturday, like I said, outside of those top 25 matchups. Including us at Big Noon on ABC in Arkansas, which I don't like noon games. They're not my favorite thing in the entire world, but we will have to deal with it nonetheless. And now let's transition. Let's head over to the National Football League. We're heading into week number 4 already, which is insane. But we will start, I think, for just the second time this year on Thursday night. For the first time on Prime Video at 8:15 Eastern Time. It is the 2-1 Seattle Seahawks traveling to the 2-1 Arizona Cardinals, who are a 1.5-point home favorite. Your over-under in this one, Sean, is 43.5. Okay. Let's hop right to it. Well, one of these two teams has snuck its way into my top 10. So more on that later. But I kind of like what both of them are doing, though I gotta say, I was pretty high on Arizona, and I didn't think a few years ago I would ever be saying this, but I'm very high on Arizona's defense. I think they've established themselves as having a good pass rush, being able to limit the running game of their opponents, and that's very fortunate for Arizona because the offense has not been clicking. You just lost James Conner, of course. That might be a gift in disguise. You finally get to see what you have in Benson behind him. But Mar, you got your player of the future, Marvin Harrison, dropping wide open 35-yard passes in his numbers. You have Kyler Murray arguably throwing bad balls, and maybe that's why we're dropping 35-yard passes down the middle. It doesn't look great. Kyler Murray still looks lost at times, scrambling away. And because of that, I'm going to go with what looks like a proven product. It looks like a great product. It looks like football the way it's supposed to be run, on your feet with balance between the tackles and good defense and hard hits. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks in this one easily. I think this is a statement game for Seattle. Let's not forget that Seattle is one unfortunate stumble over an offensive lineman from being the undefeated team in the NFC West and from being one of the 6 unbeatens left because the other 2 games were never close. So give me Seattle easily. Send the Cardinals to 500 at 43.5. There's too much defense in this game. I'm going to take the under. That number is teasing you to push over, and I think they know what they're doing. I think that's an under.
Yeah, Devin has Seattle and the under. Look, I know they played a hapless, helpless, hopeless New Orleans team, but that was an all-around performance like you don't usually see in the NFL.
There's one thing with beating a hopeless team. There's another team with making them look as hopeless as everyone thought they were.
Right,
yeah.
And that's what Seattle did. Arizona, they have flashes of being really good, and then they also have flashes of being the opposite. So if I'm going with in this one, it's going to be the team that's the consistent team at the moment. And to me, that's the Seattle Seahawks. They look to be the better of the two. So give me Seattle on Thursday night on the road in the division. They're going to try to keep pace or maybe pass the 49ers, depending what they do this week. But yeah, Seattle looks to be a pretty darn good football team right now. So I'll take them to cover and win, and I will take the under because I think Seattle's defense is going to do enough to keep that Arizona offense out of the scoreboard.
Devin only picking one Seahawk to win.
Just the one. It's the really big one.
Seahawk, not the whole team. It's only going to take one.
All it's going to take. All right, now we move to Sunday morning from Dublin, Ireland on the NFL Network at 9:30 a.m. So if you're a degenerate, if you are a fantasy football player.
I am so mixed on these European games. Like football early morning is exciting, except that I have kids and I never see it.
Well, there you go.
It just messes up
my fantasy. It is the 2-1 Vikings. They are traveling across the ocean to play the Steelers. The Vikings a 2.5-point favorite over the 2-1 Steelers. Your over/under on this one is 42, Sean.
Well, I mean, the Steelers have played in Ireland before. The Steelers actually have a pretty big following in Ireland. I do weirdly know that for some reason. I don't know what it is that makes me know that Ireland loves the Steelers. And I might be completely wrong. Maybe I dreamt that one time. But either way, the spread's set the over-under set real good here because I feel like questionable offense versus now possibly exposed rookie quarterback / backup Carson Wentz traveling over the ocean. I don't think it'll be a ton of points scored in this one, so I'm going to fester on that for a bit. But as far as who's going to win this game, obviously my lock of the year is somewhat dependent on the Steelers losing more than half of their games. But to be honest, like we've seen some flashes now of DK Metcalf starting to work. We've seen some flashes of Austin on the other side making big plays. And occasionally Aaron Rodgers looking like the Aaron Rodgers of old. Mm-hmm. But the trouble is for every one of those Aaron Rodgers of old, there's 2 old Aaron Rodgers.
Right, Aaron Rodgers, ... old.
Yeah. So I think the Steelers' offense is still fairly listless, and I think are we definitely without McCarthy this week? Do you know?
It stinks.
Yeah, I believe he is.
He's out multiple weeks.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, either way, I think that's the right play. Asking a guy coming off an injury to travel across the ocean and play another game. But I mean, you bought yourself some time because you won the first one. So
I guess Kevin McConnell was non-committal this week, but
okay, so maybe it's usually that to me tells me it's probably a no, but like
especially with
we're
travel,
not, just something to let you know they're not looking at IR. I thought Carson looked good last week. I thought he wasn't in a position where he had to do a lot to win a game because the rest of the team was winning around him while he was playing well. But I didn't see a lot of mistakes. At times, it looked like that Carson Wentz that I remembered. Except this time, he was not afraid of like the safe backup tight end because he happens to be open. I think he looks appreciative of the opportunity, and I think he continues to roll that. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings in this game, and I am going to Vikings 2.5 easily. Yeah, I mean that's basically a pick. Give me the Vikings. Skull. I'm gonna push just over. I think when the Vikings get, especially with the way the Vikings have been knocking teams around on defense and taking balls away, I think if you set up some short fields, and the Steelers are capable of that too. You get a Watt sack somewhere, take advantage of a rusty Carson Wentz. Maybe you can you get a couple short fields, get a couple scores where nobody counted on it. So I think it pushes over. I'll take the Vikings though, and my man Carson Wentz goes to 2-0.
Yeah, the fact that we're pretty much picking all the same teams.
Like about this game,
all the teams in the pick'ems we're kind of picking together this so far. And I'm not really going to change that with this one. Not because I don't like the Steelers, but I don't. Not because I dislike Aaron Rodgers, because I do. But I just think when I'm looking at the two teams, I think Minnesota is just better right now.
Minnesota.
Like if I'm looking at two teams and I'm not 100% sure which way a game's going to go, I just really ask myself that question: which of these teams is better? When I'm looking at the Vikings and I'm looking at the Steelers, like the loss against Atlanta was strange, but
yeah, I mean that was the big. I was looking at their schedules and I was like, man, how did that happen?
But Aaron Jones gets hurt, McCarthy gets hurt. It was strange. It was a strange game. And I'm just going to kind of choose to ignore that one, because the otherwise the Vikings have been more consistent. I know it's a short window of comparison either way. But and I'm with you, man. I think this Steelers team is going to be sub 500. I think this is going to be the one.
And in the opposite realm of what you said about Minnesota, you go back and you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and you look at like, oh man, what an exciting week one against the New York. Like the whole time I'm like, this is the goddamn Jets.
Right.
Like this isn't something new. This isn't like a team. Like you shouldn't have to figure this game out in the fourth quarter if you're going to challenge for a playoff spot. It's Justin Fields and it's the Jets front office and it's a brand new coaching. Why is this so hard for you? And then they go play what we now have just established in our last pick as a legitimate team in the Seattle Seahawks and get murdered 31-17.
Yeah.
Only to come play the Patriots, who I did pick to win, only because I think both teams are, my eighth graders would call them very mid. They're both very mid. And I took what I thought was a kind of more hopeful mid. I was wrong. Should have gone with the more veteran mid. But, what are you going to do? The Patriots also fumbled 3 times and still only lost by a touchdown.
Correct.
2 of those were scores going in. Like they were going in for a score and gave up the ball. One of them at like the 2. So like, you keep 2 of those 3 fumbles, the Steelers may not be in that game. So, give it to them. They took the ball away, I guess, but that's life.
Yeah, ultimately, it's just the Vikings are better, and I'm going to go with the better team when I'm making.
And I want to hear that point as much as possible.
All right, next one. We go to Sunday, 1:00 on Fox. It is the 3-0 Eagles. They are a 3.5-point road favorite at the 3-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 44.5 is your over/under on this one, Sean.
Well, not super surprising that these two teams are 3-0 in the grand scheme of things. I did not see it come. I didn't even know if the Eagles would be 3-0 coming into this point. with a couple of the games they had out of the gate. But yeah, man, I was real jacked. When I said the Eagles were the big kind of win of the week or the best of the week, a big part of that was because right as you make that block and win the game, the Packers blow one against the Browns, and it looked like the Buccaneers were about to blow one against the Jets. And it I mean, what a turnaround that would have been from an NFC perspective to like essentially have the game, here it is. We just did all this for nothing, to like all of a sudden taking a leg up on two teams. The plus side is you get to ride this momentum into a matchup and a chance to put them a game behind you. Buccaneers without Mike Evans. Buccaneers are feeling real good about themselves. Couple of close / come from behind victories. But I got news for you. This isn't CJ Stroud. This isn't Tyrod Taylor. Okay? Like, you've had two. I wouldn't call the last week a terrible game, but I would say that in Houston they played a terrible game. And they won because the other team just eventually remembered they were terrible. And last week they just, I would argue that if the game's going that way and it's Justin Fields in the fourth quarter, like they managed to like sustain a drive and don't let Tampa get back. I don't know. It's a weird set of wins, but they're riding high down here. I'm getting a lot of crap from everybody that knows that I'm an Eagles fan. Even the folks at the McDonald's next to my school who've been telling me go Birds every week, but this week won't say it.
That's
tell me
fair.
all the reasons why we're going to lose. And I was like, okay, those are reasons. Not great ones. But without Mike Evans, you get the return of Chris Godwin, but what's he going to be? Igbuka looks great. I assume we're going to do our best to have an answer for him. Baker Mayfield's hard to have an answer for. You can't get into we can't let Jalen Carter get into a talking match with him. He's going to come out and try to Dak Prescott him.
Sure is.
Because he's a competitor and he's smart.
He's probably better at what Dak did than
way
Dak
better.
is.
Way better.
Like Baker, I love Baker, and I think he is ultimately at his core a good guy, but he's more of a prick than Dak Prescott is.
Oh, he is.
At the same time, there's the
my
kitty.
evil kitty's here while I make my Eagles prediction. She's going to claw me up real good. But yeah, this is a much better team than you were describing. So if you're going to come out and play a similar game to what you played the last 2 weeks, the Eagles are going to kill you. I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to play a very good game. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to keep the offense off the field. But they haven't seen a defense this good. So I think the Eagles get revenge on last week. Of last year, rather. The Eagles got kind of, it's an opportunity for me to just put people in their place this year. If the Eagles do win and they're like, well, Mike Evans wasn't playing. I'm like, we didn't have either wide receiver last year. And you guys just have ridden me for a year about how we didn't beat you. And you should have beaten us in the thing. There's all these rumors about calling up that 400-pound D tackle to like stop the tush push. I'm like, please go ahead and put that kid that you didn't even want on your practice squad. Get him and put him in front of our offensive line. Go right ahead. You think we're afraid of 400 pounds? Get out of here. Just line up two regular people. Put an extra guy on. Like, I don't really do it. Like, what is this nonsense? Either way, short story long. Eagles by a ton, and I don't know. What's the over? Yeah, go ahead and push the homer button.
48.5. Or no, 44.5.
Technically, either one's a homer pick for me.
Technically,
I live with one, and I root for the other. 44.5. Give me the over on that. Eagles are going to put up a ton of points. Saquon Barkley wakes up this week. That's a potential lock of the week. Potential.
Phillies and Marlins going into the rare top of the ninth or bottom of the ninth rain delay. The tarp is out on the field.
It's still 3-2. I can't get the thing to straight.
No, it's tied. It's tied at 3. Marlins got a home run.
Dan texted me, said we've got some bad base running blunders going on tonight. So that's
on both sides. But look, I said we've made predictions that are pretty much mirrored each other throughout this entire show so far. The buck stops here. Surprise, pun intended as well. But you go back over the last decade, the Eagles are 1-4 against the Bucks. Now, granted, obviously very different teams, different players, etc. But the Bucks and Todd Bowles even seem to kind of know how to how to coach against Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. So I think the home cooking. I think that it's going to be a hard hitting, physical. I think you're going to get some elements of like a divisional rivalry in this game. Like you said, like the potential of Baker Mayfield getting under Jalen Carter's skin. Like those are elements that are going to be there. The Bucs are going to try to do things to throw them off. But I just think at home, riding high off of the close win last week, I like the Bucs here. At the very least, to cover. I'm taking them to win, but I also will take the under. I think it's just going to be a physical matchup with two really good teams. And then last one, and this one is, this is a game that like if you would look at the set schedule at the start of the year, you're like, yeah, we're definitely going to predict this game. But where we have gotten at this point, already just into the fourth week of the season, we're picking this game for very different reasons than we would have thought a couple of weeks ago. It is the 1-2 Baltimore Ravens, a 2.5 point road favorite at the 1-2 Kansas City Chiefs, coming off their first win, a slog against the now former Giants quarterback Russell Wilson and the Giants at the Meadowlands. But the 1-2 Chiefs, 48.5 is your over under Sunday, 4:25 on CBS, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's kind of a baffling situation on both ends. I think obviously more so on the Baltimore end, but you're also, much like we talk about Notre Dame and 4 points total in 2 games. You look at the 2 losses by the Ravens, and you were right in it with Buffalo, and you were a fumble away from winning it. You were right in it with a Detroit team that everybody for 2 years, half the people were saying, going to challenge, if not win the NFC. So these are 2 very good teams that beat the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm not saying there's nothing to be scared of. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, the fact that like you have one of the best running backs of all time at quarterback, and then one of the best running backs of all time at running back, and you're having trouble running the ball without turning it over, without the guy getting hit, or without, because some of that's like, well, he's got to hold on to the ball, or that's just bad luck. I mean, sometimes that's a guy that should have been blocked that has an opportunity to come knock a ball away. Against the Lions, they weren't blocking anyone. I mean, we're talking like a couple of forced fumbles and 7 sacks against your reigning, could have been, should have been MVP. I mean, he's a guy that spends enough time taking hits. The last thing you need to do is give him 7 more free shots. You gotta clean that up on the offensive line. And then on the defensive line, did you know that in the Monday night game last week, the Lions had 2 runs of 70 yards or more, and that is the first time that has happened in the history of the Baltimore Ravens. In all the years the Ravens have been in the league, that has never happened. Not once. Wow. In fact, the last time one run of 70 yards happened was, I forget the year, I looked it up. It was the Philadelphia Eagles, and it wasn't one of the, it was like 2017. The last time they gave it was. So, I mean, you have some situations here where, when it's the line of scrimmage and you're a hardball, you're not happy, so they had some pieces missing, and the Lions attacked that. The Lions attacked the missing defensive lineman, and it worked. So, but I think the situation's much worse in Kansas City. They're in a situation where, one, if they don't put something together soon, there's going to be no chance of challenging for that division, and you're going to be scrambling for a wild card spot. But if you can't figure out how to score points at some point, I mean, I know you're getting Rashee Rice back after week 6. Sorry, I have a cat attacking my feet like a psychopath. Keep it up. You're going to be on a pirate ship on Sunday at 1 o'clock. I'm going to ship you to the state. Be a pirate kitty. Anyway, is my mic still working? Like, it was quite a show there. All right, good. I guess I'll reconnect this. All right, I think we're good. But anyway, yeah, Chiefs. I don't even know what righting the ship looks like at this point. You're just, you're hoping some guys come off suspension and one guy gets healthy. Like, you already lost the game with Xavier Worthy at the helm, so I don't really know what you're looking at. But they also cannot run the ball to save their lives. They cannot protect their quarterback to save their lives. Fortunately for them, they're playing a little bit better defense than the Ravens, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Give me the Baltimore Ravens, because I think the Ravens will find a way to score points, and I'm not sure the Chiefs can. I think this one's going to be one-sided. I mean, you could have made this spread way more than it is. Like, I'm kind of shocked that it's 2.5. I assume it's because Chiefs fans bet a lot, but
Probably.
yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'm going to take the under because, again, I don't know if the Chiefs are going to score 17 points.
No, I mean, they barely scored 20 against the Giants. Look, the Ravens 1-2, they are not without their problems. We'll talk about them here in just a second when we get into the power rankings. But they've lost to two really good football teams. The Chiefs are just, by all measurements, the Chiefs are just a worse football team right now. They look old. They look tired. They look frustrated. They look like they are disinterested. I mean, it's every bit as good as the Chiefs have been over the last, I've lost track of the count of number of years now. The script has flipped. Can they flip it back? They have the talent to, but how deep into this season are you waiting to flip the script? Especially in an AFC that's very competitive. So, they need to get right, and I don't know that they have the ability to do it against a Ravens team that, by their own issues, really, taking nothing away from the Lions, especially the Lions, because I thought the Lions were very good. The Bills were dead to rights, and
they had that game.
The Ravens let them back in. So
that
the Ravens
fumble was the worst of, because Henry has one in each game, I think.
Yeah, he does.
And that's his worst one. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like last night's fumble prevented a comeback. The opening week fumble started the Bills' comeback.
Yep.
So,
and both lost me a fantasy game.
But yeah, look, if the Ravens, they just have to clean it up. The Chiefs have to figure it out, and I think that's the difference.
Huge difference
between these two 1-2 teams. So yeah, I'm with you. I think it's 7 out of 8 games this week. I'm with you. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens by 10 plus. I think it's going to be an ugly one. I think you hear boos in Kansas City. These people aren't.
I think being an Arrowhead's the only thing that gives the Chiefs a shot in this one.
Sure,
any semblance of a shot. That's it.
But man, if the Ravens go up 10-14 pretty quick, that's going to turn. It's going to turn quick. But
Lamar breaks a big run.
I will take a slight over. Like I do think, because the Ravens defense is bad too. I think the Chiefs will be able to score some, but it's just not. It's going to be like 48-21. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those just lopsided scores that, like, and the Chiefs might get some garbage time stuff. But yeah, it's wild to see how quick this has turned for Kansas City after just you won the AFC again last year. So definitely wild times in Kansas City, wild times in the NFL. I think that the thing that we're seeing is, over these opening weeks, you're just going to get a lot of wild and unpredictable stuff, and I think that's going to continue this upcoming weekend. So, but Sean, let's go into it as we do each and every week. We look at the NFL picture. We look at the top 10, the bottom 5 in the National Football League. We will start with the bottom 5s. I'll give Mike's and EJ's. And then we'll do yours and mine. EJ has the Texans 28, Dolphins 29, Titans 30, Giants 31, Saints 32. Mike has Texans, Titans, Giants, Dolphins, and Saints. So, Sean, who is your bottom 5 this week?
Well, I have at the very bottom, it seems like I'm on board so far with the New Orleans Aints. I have them down at 32. I have the Titans at 31, second worst. Dolphins right behind them, so some recurring themes. The New York Giants make my list at 29, and at 28, knowing full well that there are a few other teams, one of which is probably in their division, I have the Atlanta Falcons, because I thought that a 30-0 dismantling by a team that I had on my bottom 5 last week, I mean, how abysmal, like to it, like we just talked about, to have beaten
Not great, Bob.
the Vikings, but there were injuries, and then you know, this is a game that this shouldn't even be a discussion game. They couldn't do anything.
No.
And so I have them down there. This is a warning shot for the Falcons. Get your heads out of your butts, or you're going to stay here. But that's my bottom 5.
Yeah. So my bottom 5, much like everybody else, Saints at 32. I have the Titans at 31. Giants at 30. Dolphins, they moved up. They moved up a couple spots to 29. Still not a good team, but you almost beat the Bills. You move up. And I have my Dallas Cowboys at 28. Look,
Old strategy, Cotton.
You're a 66-yard field goal away from being 0-3.
Yeah.
You looked competent against the defending Super Bowl champions. Your defense did not look anything close to competent against the Giants. You made Russell Wilson, who's now not a starting quarterback for that very team, 1 week later.
Well, and I think we're at a point now where whether it's this bottom 5 or the top 10, the thing I'm starting to notice is like we're at a point where like we're getting some data that we're starting, like, especially after this coming week. I think you can start to stop looking at week 1. You know, week 1, like we talked about after week 1, it's one of those like, let's just survive, right? Nobody's played. Our coordinators, all the coaches are new. Like everybody's trying to figure out how to play. And so it becomes very sloppy. You wind up with teams that normally would dismantle a team that end up in a close game. You have teams that, go the other way, that like find themselves in a close game but have never been there because they're terrible. And it just becomes a real weird one to kind of base stats or base anything off of. So I think we're starting to see some data. The top 10 felt a little easier this week to put together. So yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of question marks, but we're starting to put it together, especially when we're geniuses like you and I.
Well, exactly. But yeah, Dallas, the defense is just embarrassingly bad. And now you're without CeeDee Lamb for at least about 2 to 3 weeks. So like the offense, which would look creative the first couple of weeks. You're now your wide receivers are Pickens, Tolbert, Turpin. It's bad. It's just bad.
They're gonna find the Jadeveon Clowney of wide receivers out there. They're gonna go sign.
Maybe. What's Wes Welker doing? It's bad, man. And here's the problem. You're 1-2, and now you have Green Bay coming to town on Sunday. Then you have Carolina. Like, this is supposed to be your easy stretch. We've talked about it a couple of times on this show this year. The back half of the Cowboys schedule is infinitely harder. Like, if you're going to want any shot at 500 or a freak wild card, this is the stretch you have to do it in. And there is nothing about this team that says they're going to be anywhere close to 8 or 9 wins. It's really bad. So, that's the bottom 5. Looking at the top 10, I have EJ. We'll start at 10, work to 1. Niners, Colts, Rams, Ravens, Lions, Packers, Buccaneers, Chargers, Bills, and Eagles at 1. Mike has Vikings, 49ers, Packers, Ravens, Buccaneers, Colts, and then his top 4, Lions, Chargers, Eagles, and Bills. Sean, what is your top 10 this week?
Well, at number 10, I have my who I feel is probably should be at the top of the NFC West. So I have them in without the other. I have the Seahawks in at number 10. Then I have the Minnesota Vikings. I have I still have the Rams despite the loss. I feel they still belong here. Packers have fallen. quite a ways here, but they sit at number 7. The Lions have clawed back in. Might be the largest comeback of all time, from 28 to 6.
That's right. You did have them in your
28 to 6. What a run by the Lions in just shy of 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks. Yep.
Way to go, Lions. That's how we do it. Maybe Dan Campbell watched my show. I talk about these coaches, and then off they go. Thanks for watching, man, Campbell. My top 5, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, soon to be out of the top 10. Here's hoping. Then I have the Bills at 4, the Colts at 3, probably the highest the Colts are going to see. The Chargers at 2, the Eagles at 1. Finally cracked my top 1 after they were going to anyway. I did not expect the Packers to then lose that game, so that just made it even easier.
Yeah, number 10, I have the Seahawks, Niners at number 9, Rams at 8, Bucks at 7, Colts get in my top 6, Packers at 5, Lions at 4. I think they were my biggest mover. They were up 5 spots. The Bills stay at 3, Eagles drop to 2, and man, I'm feeling it.
How about that Charger?
My Los Angeles Chargers, your new number 1 team in my rankings this week. So I do have last week's. If we have any questions about Mike or EJ, Mike now gives me reasons for his. So if we have any questions about teams he has, but looking at it,
Bills, did he give you a reason for the Bills?
Let me take a look here. So
I don't know 100% where he had them last week.
The Bills were 2 last week. So let's see here, Mike. Short week, handled business. That's fair against the divisional lineup. And he dropped the Eagles. Just they kind of had some struggles. Obviously they came back.
Always been struggles. The whole seat. That's the problem.
Oh, right, and that's I
wouldn't put them at number 1 until they woke up. Like, I refused to do it. I kept them at 2 behind a Packers team that I knew we were better than, and I had my reasons. And I was like, they're just not showing me yet. They're not waking up, and if they don't wake up soon, they're eventually going to fall. And I don't want them to fall out of 1. I'd rather them fall out of 2. And everybody else is like, "This is the best team. They're finding a way. They're doing a thing." And then, like, I get it. You come stumbling out of the gate, right? But it's not like the defense played poorly. We held them to 3 straight field goals, very important field goals. Blocked another one, and then in the second half, everything wakes up. The Eagles are alive. By the way, A.J. Brown last year against the Rams, 6 catches, 109 and a score. This year against the Rams, 6 catches, 109 and a score. Just thought that was an odd thing that happened in that game.
There you go.
But you dropped him too.
I dropped him from 1 to 2.
He dropped us for a Bills team that barely beat the Miami Dolphins. And I get it. McDaniel coached his best game, and the Bills were like, short week, whatever, blah, 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 short week. I'm not so sure that should matter.
So here's the deal. So I obviously he's not here to fully defend himself, but I'll defend.
Yeah, I'm not going to attack it entirely.
I'll defend my dropping the Eagles because I had them at 1 for the first 3 weeks. But again, it's the repeated, just not playing a 60-minute game, not being totally clean the whole way, just not looking like what I thought the Eagles were going to look like and be yet. Now, granted, obviously, plenty of season. We've seen them do this before, so more than enough time to get themselves back to number 1. And for the Chargers, I jumped them. They were actually my 4 last week. They jump up to 1, but the Packers came down. I didn't think the Bills did enough to move up for me. Because I thought they were going to win by 20 plus. And I sat here, I made fun of EJ last week for saying the Dolphins were going to make it competitive and the Browns were going to be frisky. And look, I got it wrong. The Bills, as
EJ
good as they
had
look,
a very good pick.
He had a good week. He had a good week.
Out on his Twitter, on the Facebook, everywhere he goes, like, he put his locks of the week, and they all were very good locks.
He was 2-8 in the first 2 weeks. He went 4-0 this week. So, but so for me, when I look at the what the Chargers did against the Broncos, and I get maybe the Broncos aren't as good of a team as the Rams, but when I look at what the Chargers did against the Broncos, come from behind victory, divisional victory, and the Eagles come from behind against the Rams. When I look at those two games,
winning that game at halftime, weren't they?
What's that?
I said I think the Chargers were winning that game at the half, right?
I don't recall, but it was at the very least it was
at the half. Chargers,
yes, second half comeback. But when I look at the two games, to me, it feels like, and I get it's all cliche, but to me it felt more like the Rams lost more than the Eagles won. But it was the Chargers won that game. The Chargers, they were playing bad. They let a lead slip away, and they said, no, we're not going to lose this game. They come back and win. The Eagles, it felt like, not that they didn't earn it. I'm not saying that, but it felt it was as much about what the Rams failed to do than it did about what the Eagles did to win, if that makes sense. So that's why I moved them down this week. I decided to get a little bold, put my Chargers up there. I'm feeling good about them. We're a happy Harbaugh household over here. Maybe that's
I've been hearing a lot of that, like the Eagles, like, oh, slow start, or like you didn't. I feel like one of the reasons I had the Eagles as my best of the week, a huge part of it was I saw it less as like a tale of two halves kind of thing. I obviously it was, but I think it was a game that was won on all three phases of the game. It was a game where the offense came out, scored early. The first drive, worked, and then you didn't have much drawn up after that. Obviously, the game plan was let Saquon run through the Rams again, and the Rams were there. They were ready for it. They were ready for Saquon. And then for a while, it felt very much like a Mike Tomlin coach team. That's like, this is what I drew up. It has to work, right? And it wasn't. And in kind of like vintage Eagles fashion, almost Andy Reid-esque, adjustments at halftime. Now, they didn't have to make a lot of defensive adjustments. It's not like the Rams were lighting us up. Let's not forget that two of those scores were set up on short fields by just bonehead plays. And to come right out of the chute in the second half and give them another one was pretty excruciating. So to turn it around from there and to block two kicks and to not give up and to like fight through, I thought it was when the Eagles offense woke up, I'm like, that's when they were lining up for the field goal before I even knew it was going to be blocked. I was like, even if we lose this game, this is where it turned. Like, I'm going to feel more confident going into Tampa Bay than I was coming into this game.
Sure.
Because now I know we can play, and we remembered that Jalen Hurts can throw. And then my favorite thing I saw today, I finally saw Jalen Hurts' reaction to the blocked kick. He's like standing on the sideline, his arms crossed. Like, he's not even like, he's just. And then the kick goes. You can hear like Merrill Reese going nuts on the broadcast, and he just kind of goes and just kind of nods his head and walks. Never even uncrosses his arms. Arms never went up.
It's all business,
man.
People
are running by him, slapping him on the shoulder. He's just walking. He's like, well, all right. Well, we dodged the bullet there,
Right.
He's just stone cold. By the way, with that win, has now not lost a start in over a calendar year.
Wow.
The day, like the day that he did it, it became 300 and I think it's 367 or 368 days.
Damn. Okay.
Also, in the last calendar year, him, Saquon, and AJ Brown, when playing together, have not lost a game either.
There you go.
So,
go
Birds.
Obviously, EJ not here to defend himself. But he had last week. He had the Ravens at 3, Packers at 4, and I understand the Ravens had a more, a loss by a wider margin than the Packers did, but he dropped the Packers 1. He dropped the Ravens 3. The Ravens lost to a team who was in his top 10 last week.
Yep.
And the Packers lost to a Browns team that wasn't in his bottom 5, but wasn't in his top 10.
Maybe it's because EJ saw the Browns coming, so he wasn't surprised.
Maybe
he was surprised the Packers didn't. I don't know.
But
I feel like I just kind of botched up putting the 49ers not in there. I feel like I probably should have gone Niners,
No,
like Seahawks 9, Niners 10. I feel like the Seahawks are a better team than the 49ers.
I think they are too. I gave the
But I
Niners.
should have done what you did. Maybe just unloaded the Vikings. But I don't know, to do what they did with a backup quarterback and basically doing that with the other two phases of the ball. I didn't want to not put the Vikings in.
But if we're being honest, between now EJ has the Colts, has the Colts as his 9. He doesn't have Seattle or the Vikings in. But he, between you, me, and Mike, we have a combination of Minnesota, San Francisco, and Seattle.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair because
I know the 49ers didn't make, but they would be like at 11. Like if I kept my list where it is, the 49ers were in a discussion for like 8 through 11, like somewhere in there.
But as I was trying to say, when you're looking at the NFL, I think your top 2, top 3. Now, granted, you have the Colts up there.
I think the Colts are for real.
I think they are too, but I do want to see a little bit more before I get them.
I also may have punished the Bills here for not.
And that's
fully
fair.
Dismantling
but we every year we start talking about the tiers, and I think your top 3, 4 teams are probably pretty close. Then you get that middle 4. So once you pass number 8, there's just kind of that 3, maybe a 4th team sneaks their way in there of these teams week to week might be here. So I gave the Niners the nod. They're without a lot of players, and they're still finding ways to win games. Maybe not against the best competition. It's a huge hit. It's a huge hit. But they are they're still currently undefeated. They were ahead of the but I don't dislike the Vikings being in there above them. I don't dislike Mike having the Vikings in and not the Seahawks. I think it's
right.
There's that grouping.
They're probably all in a similar tier. And one thing I've started to notice about my list, and I was kind of looking at them as last year's, is as the season goes along, I think subconsciously I start to believe in defense. The teams that start to rise to the top are the teams that it's not the ones scoring all the points. It's not the ones with the best quarterbacks. It's the ones that are just preventing you from doing anything. And so you're going to probably see the Lions. I would assume you're going to see the Lions continue to rise here. And
sure.
And to be honest, the only thing I have to say about the Colts over the Bills that would be obviously Daniel Jones is not Josh Allen.
No.
But I'm not sure the Bills have a Michael Pittman. And I know they don't have a Jonathan Taylor. You can say everything you want about James Cook. James Cook looks good, but I don't think he's a Jonathan Taylor. And for me on the defensive side of the ball, you can still sell me on, well, this team's got to play the Bills defense. I'm not so sure.
They stink.
That's a thing.
Bills defense isn't good.
Josh Allen is going to have to play Joe Burrow football. Now, given he has a little bit better offensive line, and by a little, I mean he actually has one. So, that's good. But he's going to have to score points every week because that defense is not going to stop teams from scoring. The only thing they have as an advantage is that when it gets cold, that home field advantage may help stop teams some. But man, it hasn't looked good so far. They if Tua doesn't throw a pass without looking at a safety, Dolphins might just go down and score on that drive. So I'm not sure I believe in the Bills' record entirely, but it's there, and so I'll keep my top 4. And if they,
here's the deal, man. The Bills, they're about in the middle of the pack in terms of points given up. Now, granted, they did only surrender 10 to the Jets, so let's keep that in mind.
Right. Is that the game that Fields got hurt?
I believe so.
I think so. So that helps.
But these are the teams, the teams in the NFL who have given up more points than the Bills. Raiders, Steelers, Lions, Giants, Saints, Bengals, Cowboys, Bears, Jets, Titans, Ravens, Dolphins. Outside
Ravens
of
and Lions on that list is insane.
Right. I mean,
that's 2 other teams that shouldn't be giving up points, right?
No. Now, granted, I think they gave up a little bit of junk time last night. But the Lions are basically giving up around 20-ish points a week. But I think as they settle in with the new coordinator, I think that number is going to start coming down. I don't have that confidence in the Ravens. But the rest
the Ravens
of these
and Bills are in very similar defensive situations.
The rest of the teams in this group are bad teams and bad defenses. So I'm not sold on the Bills defensively. Offensively, they're fine. They're really good. But yeah, I'm not sold on them.
And when you're talking about two franchises that over the recent history have been able to get there and people can't figure out why they're not getting over the hump. If they don't this year, at least we know why.
Correct. Anything else from the power rankings, Sean?
No, I think it's fun. I think it's I enjoy doing the power rankings. It's stressful at some weeks trying to like, what's everyone going to think if I don't put this team? And then you realize nobody really
we don't know.
Cares. You get a little flack, you throw a defensive thing back, and they're like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, we don't know anything anyway. But let's do as we do each and every week.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
We close it out with our locks for the weekend. What will happen in the world of football over the next 7 days? Sean, what are you locking up this week?
I'm going to ask you to push that button twice in a row because I'm giving you a double lock it up.
Lock it up. Lock it up.
I got two. I got one in Ireland. Not only do I have the Vikings cruising in that game, but I will lock it up that Carson Wentz finds Justin Jefferson for a touchdown. I'm going to guarantee a Justin Jefferson touchdown. And right here in my backyard in Tampa Bay, I guarantee that Saquon Barkley rushes not for 100 yards, but 120 plus.
Lock it up.
Ooh, spicy. For me, I'm going to stick in the world of college football this weekend. There are 4 games where a top 15 AP poll ranked team plays an unranked opponent. You have number 15 Tennessee playing Mississippi State, number 14 Iowa State playing Arizona, number 11 Indiana playing Iowa, number 9 Texas A&M playing Auburn, and number 1 Ohio State playing Washington. An AP top 15 team will lose to an unranked team.
Lock it up.
This week. Well, you lock that up. That's a good pick.
Lock it up. And it can be anybody except for number 9 Texas A&M. At this point, that's where we're at. That's what we need. Sean, tell them where they can follow you.
All right. Well, if you want to follow me today, just you're going to have to sneak and peek through my windows again. I don't know which one of you it was, but I saw you last week. And if you're before I say where you can follow me, if you're going to be down here for the game, if you're one of our PA listeners and you're coming down to the Tampa Bay area, you want a chance to like hang out, I'll show you around for a bit. Come down a day early. Should take you out for a drink or something. But otherwise, find me on the Twitter. As usual, you can catch me at Sean Shine State on the Twitter. You can also just kind of follow me generally making comments on the Huddle Up Podcast stuff. Other than that, you can follow me. You find the right TV when the birds are on, I'm going to be there. But until next week, go Birds.
There you go. You can find me at Big Jim Sports. That is on Twitter and Blue Sky. But most importantly, follow the show. We are on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have the weekly show. We have some shorts popping up on there. We have our segments each week. So hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate that. You can follow us on all of our social media. We're at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitter. You can get us on Instagram at Huddle Up Podcast Inc. Also, grab our merchandise over on the TeePublic store. You can get the link to that and everything else Huddle Up related on the link tree on our social media. Until next week, enjoy the football. Stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.